Hi, everybody. I'm Vinson Cunningham. I'm a staff writer at The New Yorker. And on behalf of the magazine, I just want to welcome you to the 26th Annual New Yorker Festival. It's big. The New Yorker Festival is about to get kicked off of its parents' insurance. It's a huge, huge year. Thank you for joining us this evening, and I'm thrilled to be on stage with the visionary musician, producer, director, Annie Clark, best known to all of us as St. Vincent. Thank you.
Hello, thank you.
I'm going to read your bio just because I want to ground us. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I know that is a mortifying practice, but I'm going to do it. St. Vincent.
I'll put on my hairsuit.
Is a musician, a producer, a director, known internationally for her genre-defying music, innovative multimedia artistry. She has won 6 Grammy Awards, including 3 Best Alternative Music Album Awards. For St. Vincent, Daddy's Home, and her most recent release, All Born Screaming. Yeah, such a beautiful record. Celebrated for her virtuosic guitar work, her sonic experimentation, her sharp lyrical narratives, and her ever-evolving visual style, St. Vincent has consistently garnered critical acclaim for pushing boundaries. Her fusion of art rock, electronic, and pop elements in her music has earned her a place among, and this is real deal stuff, the most influential artists of her generation.
Really?
Yeah. Do you get is there a memo that comes that says you are now one of the most influential?
That was the most shocking, and the rest, some of the things that you said before I was aware of, but that was the most, the most shocking thing. Thank you, that's very nice.
No, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Maybe in a site-specific way, I would like to start by talking about New York. You're doing an engagement at the Carlisle on the Upper East Side coming up. Yeah. And that to me that is such an amazing show. It's so like luxe to do that. An amazing sort of expression of show business presence, so intimate. What made you want to do that gig?
The Carlisle is a place that I've been to a number of times, and every time is very special, but twice I've been mistaken for a prostitute.
There?
Which I'm not saying I'm not. The music business is tough, but it was a place that, honestly, anytime I was on the Upper East Side, I would go and have a martini at the Bimmelman's bar, and just, it felt like, New York. Like it felt like some, some classic idea of New York. And so I wanted to do some intimate shows where I could be arrested by the jazz police. Yeah, we were singing Lush Life just moments before we walked on stage. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys missed it. It was good. It was good.
It was perfect. Yeah. We nailed the key change. It was crazy a cappella.
Have you always had the inner jazz police? Have you felt that there was a sort of God that you had to propitiate by doing this?
Well, I think my aunt and uncle are jazz musicians, and so they sort of raised me in a sense. Mm-hmm. And there's definitely a sense of like, okay, you've heard John Coltrane Love Supreme when you're 14 years old. This blows open the doors of your understanding of what is even possible on like a God level, and then. So you're like, okay, well, that's the bar, so da-da-da-da-da-da, you're like, So, yeah, there's always that, looming fear, but.
Your aunt and uncle, Tuck and Patty.
Yeah.
And you worked with them on, weren't you kind of?
Yeah, I was a roadie. It was very important. My uncle's who's very engineer-minded, it was very much about like, you need to learn all of the aspects of your trade.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, go be a star. It was none of that.
Right.
God, I wish they would have given me that training, but no, I kid. But it was very like practical, get your hands dirty sort of sort of stuff. You know, I was like touring with them and being their road manager and like testing the electrical outlets to make sure that the voltage was appropriate. Because it's very different in very different places. We'll talk a lot about voltage tonight. But yeah, so it was very much about.
It's a big notebook. There's voltage stuff in here.
Yeah. Okay. Great. But it was like, if you want to do this, understand what this is, and in a way that I think I feel very grateful for. It was very much about, like, you are a supplicant. You are a humble supplicant to the big ocean of music and all the people who have come before you and made things that have changed your life for the better. So if you are lucky to give back into that sort of great unknown, and if you are worthy of doing so, you better know your craft.
Yeah. That's heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy for a 14-year-old. That was a lot. It was a lot to carry.
The ocean of. Yeah. One thing I wonder always, working sort of in the roadie role, I always think about somebody watching, as people did tonight, flooding into a venue and on some level checking the voltage levels, understanding microphones, is a way really of having a deep sympathy for the audience as well. Not just the ancestors, but okay, how does this music land right over the lip of the stage? Was there an education in that sort of channel of communication that started back then?
Yes, I mean there was a sense of like there are things that are merely measures of respect for an audience. If you're there, you want the show to sound as good as it possibly can for them. If you're there, you ought to like, and maybe it's like a jazz thing, but it was like, you come correct. Like, it was very, I mean, my heart was also in 90s, grunge and rock music and things that were all about like, this is authenticity, and I showed up in the clothes that I was wearing all day, and this is not about artifice. But oh my God, I don't want to even say this, but this is like an intrusive thought. But there is like an aspect of like, yeah, just here I am, just take me as I am. That just like, it feels like kind of cringy and like privilegey. Like, you bought a fucking ticket, you worked hard for that money. I want to give you the best show I can possibly give you, and I want to think about every aspect of that and what that means. It seems like respect to me.
When you first said yes, though, there was a kind of like, yes. Was there a negative valence to what you learned about that relationship too?
In terms of like crowd work?
No. Just the pressures of the expectations of fulfilling that, the respect that you talk about every night.
I think that for a lot of years there was certainly like an ethos of, oh, you couldn't possibly hate me more than I hate myself. So like that as like this is my guard, this is my shield. Yeah.
But I'm wondering now at this stage in your career and your work, and you were recently at the Royal Albert Hall playing with a huge orchestra.
Yeah, that was sublime. Yeah, that was so sublime. It was crazy.
I just imagine that then sort of sizing back down to this sort of the intimacy of a place like the Carlisle, does it immediately shock you into a new realization of that relationship?
With the Royal Albert Hall, because Rachel Eckroth, who's going to come out and play it a little bit, she did a lot of the arrangements for the orchestra. Yes, fucking crushed it. She's a G, you know that. But there was something about the magnitude, I think, of playing with the orchestra. 60 people, these arrangements that had been, thought about and worked over and, refined for months at a time, and an incredible conductor, Jules Buckley. It was like, that was the last show I did of this sort of All Born Screaming tour, and it was, I swear I don't throw this word around, but it was glorious. Like it was glorious to hear them. It was glorious, and it also made me go, oh God, there's a lot of records, you know, too. like I remember playing a show here probably in 2009, maybe on my second record, and it was a terrible show. Like I fucking bombed. I don't know. It just fucking sucked, you know. You know when you just fucking suck? I just sucked. And I remember I was living in South Williamsburg at the time, and there was a little yoga studio over there that I would kind of go to, even though it's not, I can't with the, anyway, it doesn't, but there's a yoga studio that I went to, and there was like a really lovely yoga teacher, and I said, oh, I'm a musician, you should come to my show. And she came to it, and then I ran into her the next time at yoga, and even she, like this like Zen master, couldn't pretend that it was a good show.
It was a unique show. It was a great experience.
No, she didn't. She
didn't
I
give you
was
that?
like, oh, did you make it to the show? She's like, yeah. I was like, fuck, you know? It was brutal. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But so anyway, I'm really glad to be back here with all of you guys. It's good to be back.
Oh, man. Just another live performance question before we maybe pivot to other topics. The small show specifically always makes this. We were talking about Lush Live for this reason.
Yes.
Always makes me think of the cover. Just singing cover songs, singing other people's songs, interpreting other people's songs. What's your relationship to that? Do you enjoy it? Is it a thing of intimidation, or is it a kind of comfort because of a terrain that you already know?
I mean, depending on the song.
Yeah.
I think that I love it, depending on the song, because it's not just I've been a person who's sung along in the car to this particular song for, however many years, 18, but it's more like, I didn't write these words, I don't know what it meant to them, but I know what it means to me, and so there's that sort of like, it feels free because you didn't write it, and you're not going, why didn't I choose a different whatever? Why did I say snorted, or whatever? Why did I choose a word that didn't?
Well, something that I'm really interested in your career is that you have, in various ways, either by sort of
no, it's just that we're gonna do this, okay?
Okay. What are we doing?
Would you like water?
Yeah, I would love some.
Go on. Just wait for it.
In various ways, you have reinterpreted your own material, whether it's like. Can I repay you the favor now that?
No, it's good. I'm really good. Thank you.
That doesn't feel right. You have, in various ways, reinterpreted your own material. Whether it's like, I'm going to do this record again in Spanish, or I'm going to do this record with different instrumentation. You have sort of, even within your own corpus, I think, talked about, on some ways, like enacted that, an openness to your own songs. And it makes me wonder whether, for you, songs are closed when they're done. Like for me, I wrote my book and I have never opened it again, except at a thing where I'm expected to do it. Or whether you are the kind of person who is like, if you could, you would go keep tinkering with it, or that it remains alive for you in that way.
I think it only remains alive in that I get to perform it every night and whatever it means to other people. I do not go back and listen to my own work, and I don't go back and go like, boy, wish I coulda, at all. Like once I'm done, I'm so, that chapter is, yeah.
Well, you've talked, in various interviews about, you use a really awesome idea for it, which I'd never thought about, which is like a sort of, in order to start performing a song, you almost have to dissociate from the process and the sort of, whatever, the conditions of its making. Does that, I always wonder, like, if you're singing a song a lot of times after a tour, like you are right now, does that alienate you even further from the song because you're like, you've sung it so many times that you're distant from the feeling that gave rise to the song?
No, and I will say that that might have been something that I said that I no longer feel or believe.
I say lots of things like that.
I know.
Yeah. It's almost like, why are you asking me about that other person?
Right, exactly. Like there's going to be a lot of things
Yeah.
tonight that we
You're gonna say
really
some shit
deeply
that
regret. Is my hope. No, but I don't feel that way at all. I feel
Okay.
especially if a song has been, and it doesn't matter about like the labor of making it. It's solely about every time I sing this word, does it make me feel something every time? You know, it's all about like, oh, I'm discovering it anew in the moment every night. So I don't feel that way that like, well, I guess we gotta, but I also haven't, you know, I think there are musicians who have like written themselves a curse, which is like, well, I released a song that I hated or that I thought was beneath me or my audience, but guess what? Everybody loves it, and I have to sing that song. I'm not in that particular like hellscape because it does seem like a
That sounds rough.
Yeah, it's like that's a weird one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably not that rough because it's probably very lucrative, but
Hopefully the song that you hate is also the one that bought your house.
exactly. Then
Because if it's not, then it's all bad.
yeah, and then sing that goddamn song because people want to hear it and it's going to make them really happy.
Want to hear it?
So,
I have not had occasion in a long time, speaking of New York, to go through Times Square underground, and I did today.
whoa.
And you know there are all the street musicians, and there was a guy shredding, by the way, D'Angelo's Untitled How Does It Feel?
Fuck off.
R.I.P. D'Angelo, like, let's give a round inside sound for D'Angelo. And I had the sigh that I heard from over there is exactly what happened to me, like it happened from my body. But I was thinking about him, the rest of my journey here, I was thinking about him vis-a-vis you in this one way. He seemed to be someone who actually suffered because of the fact that his art made him public, made him like a body on a stage that people, like, it seemed to be a part of his work that he genuinely did not agree with or like. And it seems to me that this idea, when I think about you, I kind of think about this, the public nature of the musician, the artist. Because you seem to aim a lot of energy right there, like right. This is why I have these audience questions.
Yeah.
Because you aim a lot of intention right at that moment of contact. How does it look? How does it sound? Our favorite musicians sometimes, it's not just the music, it's like, they remind me of this color or this silhouette. And you seem to really hone in on that place. And I guess my question is, was it ever thus, or did you grow into that because you learned of so many of these necessities of being in your business?
That's a really good question.
Thank you.
Let's have a round of applause for that question. That was a good. It's a really good question. And I say that not because I'm stalling for time, because I don't really know the answer. I think that inherently, I have my friend Annie B. Parson is a G, and is one of my favorite people and incredibly informative artist in my life and choreographer. We worked together. I met her through David Byrne when we were working together. Agree? Like, no argument here. The best. And you know, in working with Annie B, one of the things that she said to me at some point, and it might have been when I was like wearing a child's toilet costume, like reading Jacques, what's the you know, Dada.
Yeah.
You know,
Derrida?
No, I mean like Dada, like the art movement. Cocteau.
Jean Cocteau.
Thank you. Right? Jean. Wow. Jean. They're gonna kick me out of the New Yorker. They're gonna kick me out of my New Yorker subscription for that.
Yeah.
fuck up. But no, but so I was like, I'm reading that while dressed as a toilet, wearing fake lashes, and Annie B was like, I think you're a vaudeville performer. I think you have vaudeville in your heart, and that is like that. She saw it before I did, but I think the genesis of it was not to like constrain the psychotic natural energy that happens when you're on stage trying to express something that is a mountain through a little keyhole. It's like to have structure, to know, to sort of respect the space of the stage and go, at this moment in time, I'm going to go here because there's energy downstage right, and I'm going to stand here, and this is going to matter. And you may break that as you go on, or you may alter, specific choreography, but you have to have a sort of framework and a structure from which to, I don't know, leap off. So I don't know if I answered your question.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I wonder, though, because of that intention, what you just said remind me a lot of playwrights, how they say, well, actually, it wasn't words that came to me, it was a stage picture.
Right.
Or the way, somebody at the top of a stair, and that was the genesis of the play. I wonder if, because you are oriented in that way, if there's something visual or a toilet costume or whatever that comes first, and from that you work backward and it occasions a song, or does it always start with the song and then express itself through all these other phenomena?
I think it comes from the music, and then I need to frame it in some kind of way. But it's also like when you make a record, I'm sure so many people here are artists and writers, and it's like making a record to me feels like working on very intricate puzzle pieces, but you don't know what the big picture is whatsoever. So you're toiling away making sure that every little line is perfect, but until it's done, you're like, oh, I had no idea that that's what I was making. I had no idea that it was a landscape, or it was a Balthus, or
Do you when you start, do you always know that you're working on an album? Like if you write a song, is it okay? There's gonna be
No, I'm always just working.
Yeah.
With any luck. I'm always just like working and hoping to find it. I wish I talk to people. I'm curious about process, of course, and I talk to so many people. And like, what do you do to like write a song or do a thing? And some people have, modes and methodologies and prescriptive ways. I have no idea. So like, I have no idea how to write a song, and I don't mean that in a self-deprecating way, because I have done it. But when I approach making music, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm absolute beginner.
Well, that's so heartening to hear for those of us who always feel like beginners. One question I have is precisely about this, like the sort of approach to songcraft. It does seem to me that a thing today, and I'm not sure if it's on the part of artists or if it's an expectation of the audience or somewhere in the between, but the lyric these days so often is a way to sort of establish, I guess, what we now call parasocial relationships. Like,
No, you're so onto it. I'm here just because I'm like, go on.
Yeah, so it's like the lyric becomes a way to say, oh, like here's what's going on in my life, and I've always loved that mode, that deeply autobiographical mode. But it seems like more and more that's how we...
interesting.
If it's interesting, yeah. But it's like, here I am, like I'm back, like I've been living, and here's the update or something like that.
Right.
Can I say a lyric of yours that I really like?
Sure.
Yeah. It's from an early song of yours. It's called "Jesus Saves, I Spend."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Fucking love that song.
Oh, you guys, thank you.
While Jesus is saving, I'm spending all my days in backgrounds and landscapes with the languages of saints. You have these wonderfully oblique, poetic, lyrics that can be read in so many different ways. And I've always wondered, I guess I'm fixated on this thing about being in public, being someone that is conscious of an audience, whether that kind of writing occasions a different, are you on the other side of that transmission being like, what do I want others to get from that, and what kind of relationship does that establish?
Well, I don't know that we're in an age of abstraction or metaphor.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's where we are, but where I go with it is that I think songs and music are supposed to reveal yourself to yourself and not be about necessarily, oh, let me, like a Zodiac killer, trace the sort of what is autobiographical and what is not about the artist. Because I think, listen, this could sound like me being on a fucking high horse, and that's fine. But I believe that ultimately to make something that people will want to listen to in 30 years and not just 3 days takes one, in some ways, an extreme selfishness, right? Mm-hmm. You have this insane idea that this needs to be heard or whatever, but it also takes like a generosity of spirit. Mm-hmm. And if everything is some like self-referential thing, I don't know who that's for. Like, yeah. But it's also a question of what do we want from music, right? Like, yeah. We were joking about Lush Life. We're talking about, Sarah Vaughan, or it's like, what I want from music is I want to perform my fucking ablutions. I want it to fucking heal me.
Yeah.
I want it to take away suffering, necessary and unnecessary, or at least help me give a reason for that. And that is like deep listening, and that's like the other night I was just fucked up. I was just fucked in the head. I was just so sad. The kind of like inexplicably sad, where you're just like, Joni Mitchell, there's comfort in melancholy. Okay, I'm gonna like revel in this. But yeah. I put on Talk Laughing Stock. Yeah. I'm listening to that record, and it was the only thing that sort of met me in the moment and transformed what was ultimately a moment of sorrow or whatever into some little sprinkle of hope. And I don't mean that in a rah music's supposed to make you feel happy way. No. Fuck that. But something that you can take away from yourself just a little bit and look at instead of just. But I'm beholding something that's genuinely human and glorious and flawed and frail, and thank God this exists. So that's what I want out of music. So I think in some way what the parasocial nature that you're talking about is almost like the epidemic of the transaction of oh God, social media, whatever, you know what I mean, the way that we interact, and the sort of economy surrounding that. Well, that was a long answer. No, it was a long, beautiful, and very generous answer. Thank you. I do wonder, though, one thing that comes up in that distinction is the difference between somebody who is a listener, which is a lifelong and ever-deepening relationship, and kind of a fan, which does seem like more of a market relation. But But I'm curious about fandom.
Me too. Well, because especially with online, it becomes very virulent and strange. You know, if you say something, if I were to right now tweet something about Nicki Minaj, negative, I don't know if I would like make it to tomorrow necessarily.
Wait, I'm so sorry. What's going on with Nicki Minaj?
Do you mean with regard to what I just said, or like?
Yeah, like
Well,
we can
do
like
you know
edit
what a,
this out
do you know what
of
a
the
barb?
broadcast.
Do you know what a barb is?
Like a barb, like a
Barb.
jab?
So Nicki Minaj's fans
Well,
online.
I will be at the retirement home, and it's been very nice to meet you. Me and Rue McClanahan.
Yeah, Nicki Minaj's fans are called barbs. There's a just like Beyonce has the Beehive.
But is that in reference to
Taylor Swift has Swifties. They're like.
Is that in reference to a Barbie? No.
It's reference to Nicki Minaj's repeated references in her music and her visuals to the Mattel toy Barbie. It is.
Got it.
Yeah. But they like and you really can't fuck around with that. You can't be like, oh, Nicki Minaj, I was disappointed with her last album. It will be a bad day in your life. And all I'm saying is like that is a slightly different thing than the raw and deep thing that you're talking about. And I wonder if.
Whoa.
I mean, I guess
We're learning. I'm learning. But.
No, it's like it's kind of like the Sharks and the Jets out there. I'm just bringing you the news. I didn't even want to dwell on this.
No, I think we should. We've got 19 minutes left, and I'd love to unpack it.
Well, maybe
No,
you need.
I'm kidding. But.
And it's about like.
Are we just like we're all like kind of fundamentally sad and lonely, and then some things become totems of that loneliness, and they become our Marvel avatar, and we go, if you fuck with
That's right.
I'm gonna try to name a Marvel character.
Fantastic.
Girth girl.
I don't know about that one.
It's coming out. It's
That one might be
good.
behind a paywall.
It's really good.
It might not be in major theaters.
An incredible super. I have no idea, but my boy.
But the girthies will come after you, is what you're saying, if that were to occur.
That is such a bad name for a fan base. I'm not saying that you started with gold. I just mean like, we've just dug it. We just dug that hole.
But you know what? What you described, the thing that I'm really more interested in, that lifelong thing where something can actually heal you. I first observed that when I was a kid looking at adults. The music that still matters to me now is the music that I witnessed my father listen to in his car.
Yeah.
And I would see like, tension falling off of it. Like this grown man with a mustache, and Sade like changes his mind. He's just like okay now because Anita Baker's on or whatever,
Yes.
Yeah. What's your first experience of music being on ambiently that was and starting to pick up pieces of that kind of affinity?
I mean, my dad's a big music lover, so if I was sort of kind of curled in the back seat of his used Porsche 928,
Wow.
that was it's weird. It's not a family car.
But there you were, family.
Yeah, but there I was. And I have very vivid memories of like driving from Oklahoma to New Mexico and looking. There would be a storm on the horizon, and the land is very flat, and there's these mesas in the distance, and you're listening to the Doors, Riders in the Storm, and you're just like, right?
Yeah.
So that I mean, that and it's not as romantic, but Steely Dan. There was so much Steely Dan.
Oh man, that's good.
I'm glad that Steely Dan used to be it was a cultural divide. It really was. It was like, do you like Pavement or do you like Steely Dan?
Oh wow.
And I feel like that, like many things, the internet has uh, made blurry the provenance of anything, and you're just like, yeah, I like them all. I like everything,
man.
and yeah.
Yeah, no, it's being identified. That used to be everything, though. Like you know, the way you dress, the way that little things were hints of identity that were like exclusive.
It used to be
It
your
meant you
whole
like it meant you
fucking
couldn't
identity.
wear the other thing. Yeah.
Oh my god! It was your whole. The friends that friends I still have. Our entire existence was the movies we liked, the music we liked, the culture that we consumed, and that was our entire identity. And it was a shield and a world that kept us afloat when we were not, necessarily celebrated per se by the gen pop of our community. It was like this is everything. It means everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit in this conversation because an aspect of your artistry that I'm really interested in. You mentioned craft, learning this from your aunt and uncle, that the tools of your trade matter in a deep way. And I wonder when, for you, 'cause the musicianship is, one thing is like playing instruments, arranging voices, but there's this other thing, which is just the studio. I don't think there is another artist working today that I listen to with any frequency who is as precise as you are about sound. And there's like acoustic and a relationship to like all of the synth sounds in your music just are kind of just like sublime. How did you learn how to play the studio as opposed to play the guitar, for instance?
I started really young. And again, thanks to my aunt and uncle and my stepdad, who was like an engineer by trade who ran a low rent sort of tax office. He saw that I was obsessed with music. It was the days before, like, oh, okay, you get a laptop and do the thing. It was like, you get a PC and an ADAT. Yeah. That's right. That's my ADAT boy up there. You get an ADAT, you get an audio interface, you get all the weird things, and you use Cake. Let's give a shout out for Cakewalk Pro Audio. So, but it was like hard and weird to. I mean, of course, I started with like a Tascam cassette 4-track, but then it kind of was like, oh, I want to learn how to do this. So I started when I was like 15 in my bedroom and just built it out into a little recording studio with like early PC recording gear. And so that was a more natural way for me to learn how to arrange, learn how to create. I sometimes wish that I had just been in bands and been like, oh, me and the fellas are...
For the social...
I say fellas, I'm sorry, there just weren't any other girls in Dallas in 1970 who played music. No, but I do kind of wish that I had done more of like the band thing very early on, but instead of just like learning other people's songs and playing them at the talent show. But so that was my intro, and then it just kept going, and it got more intense and like more expensive and more tweaky and more crazy, but also I think afforded me a level of. On one hand, it's like kind of a little bit crippling, but on the other hand, because you're like, I'm just sitting in this room by myself for a long time. But on the other hand, it afforded me an incredible amount of autonomy and made me, I think, take certain chances that I wouldn't necessarily have taken if there was like somebody in the room going, good job or whatever.
That craft, that attention to detail that it takes to deepen that aspect of your artistry, I would imagine that kind of knowledge would be the most affronted by what we see today. Everybody telling you that robots can do art, that AI, that all these other things that it seems like this civilization-wide, I don't know, effort to assure us that actually, all of that work could be done with a few strokes of a key. I wonder, do you feel pressure that the music business is changing, that it sort of wants to edge out people who actually care about the making of things?
Oh, I love that this is your last question. No, not because I want it to end, just because, wow, where do we start? For a while, it did seem that, and I would sort of blame or make responsible market forces. Mm-hmm. For a while, big popular music did just sort of sound like things that AI could make. So in a way, I was like, oh, our bigger challenge as artists is to make sure that AI can't come for this.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about like AI gonna make D'Angelo Voodoo get fucked.
God damn it, no.
No, but I think there are really interesting artists like Holly Herndon, who's doing a lot of really cool work and training her own AI and going, okay, this is a really powerful, interesting tool. I'm gonna use it I'm gonna train it and make it work for me, more or less. And I think that's that's really fascinating and generative and cool. I don't know. I've definitely been like, can you a little stuck on writing and been like on Sora, like, what would a Saint Vincent, and I was just like, you know what I mean?
You did that?
Yeah, I did.
I'll never do that.
No. And
I'll never look at that demon like that.
I was like, that's what I sound like. It was also like a little bit, oh. But I think ultimately, the thing that it can't, the thing that it can't do, and I don't ultimately want to be like a Luddite, even though I know that term gets misused, and what that really means is like people who smashed the machines because they were mad about, them potentially taking their jobs, and not just someone who like can't use Excel. But I think fucking ultimately, that's not gonna make a Love Supreme. Like, that's not gonna make a Laughing Stock. That's not. It takes a human filter who is, I think. Oh, now I'm just sounding like so like.
You're speaking the gospel.
All it takes is heart, but I do think, and also I think that it's been a lot of the intelligence has been fed on a lot of slop. So how's it gonna know?
How's it gonna surprise us?
How's it gonna surprise us? How's it gonna go? I don't know. This is such a tricky question because I know that there are ways in which there are people who are a lot smarter than I am regarding this subject and are feel very optimistic. There are people who are doomsday, sayers. I think I'm a little bit in the middle.
Yeah.
In terms of, I wish that AI would help me do the music jobs that I don't fucking want to do. Like, have my brain and then comp that vocal take. You know what I mean? So I don't, but I also don't think there are certain things that there's no way to get past the hard labor of sitting with yourself, sitting with your feelings and your moods and your insecurities and your joys, and then just kind of and eventually, putting enough pressure on it that it becomes a sort of diamond. I don't know that there's a way around it, and I also, that is what makes humanity kind of cool.
Kind of cool.
Is that we can do that, instead of just like explode people with bombs and stuff, but whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a smarter person to ask about this.
No, I mean, as a review on humanity, Kinda Cool is very generous. So I appreciate no, I echo your sentiments 100%. We have 5 minutes, so I'm gonna ask like some of my favorites, of maybe 2 of my favorites that I'm seeing here of our audience questions.
Oh, so you're not going to do the thing where we awkwardly fumble with the microphone?
Oh, no.
Someone doesn't know how to use it and talks like this, right? Really?
Nope. They're here. They're already here. They texted the number up there that I can't see, but they can, and then it's here. I'm gonna ask one. Here's a good one that I really like.
Is the question, what's your favorite part about Charleston?
Did you guys see the message to explore Charleston? I want to impress that.
Together, Vincent and I just want to impress upon you, if you have not yet explored Charleston.
That you should.
Now is the time, New York.
Yeah. One of the big messages of tonight.
Yeah.
There was a flamingo in that ad, which was like...
So confusing.
I thought it was Miami, but whatever. Now I know new things about Charleston, and that's why you should explore it.
Exactly. Get to the bottom of it.
Here's another question.
I played in Charleston once at a place that was like a mini mall, and I played right before Nashville Pussy.
Oh, man. I like Charleston. It's really beautiful. Wrought iron, like nowhere else.
A lot of wrought iron.
Yeah, okay. Here's one that I liked. It's about collaboration. You've worked with everyone from David Byrne to Jack Antonoff. Who are your favorite collaborators? And what have your collaborators taught you about this dialectic of surrender versus control?
Okay, David Byrne. Okay. I think one great thing about, let's say, Jack Antonoff is that he makes everything feel fun and light and easy. So you're like, I'm not working, I'm just da-da-da. And I think that's an incredible skill as a producer. One thing about David Byrne is that he's the best. No, is that, but he is.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, it was funny earlier this week. David's on tour right now with his new record, and we emailed a little bit, and he said that he had listened to the record that we made, Love This Giant, and he was like, it was really, thank you. Yeah, and he was like, we were sort of saying like some of it's very emotional and like moving, and it really holds up and is interesting. And I went back and listened to it, and I was like, this shit's weird. Like, this is a wild.
Yeah.
What a wild, cool record. And of all the things, and I know I'm not exactly answering your question, but I think, which maybe is not news to you, but joy is not my go-to. That's not where I have a harder time accessing joy than the sort of river of rage that just,
yes.
you know.
That runs through us all.
Yeah,
course.
right.
Of course,
is there. But David brings joy and has joy and allows you to experience joy in a way that is so deep, so thoughtful, so just the best, just the best, you know. So I think getting to at first vicariously experience joy by being in his orbit and seeing how he works, and you know, I now also bring a binder to rehearsals with all lyric sheets, and you know, I am also took some organizational tips from him, but also the way that he brings joy to the world is just magic. It's simultaneously inconceivable to my human form, but also, you know, deeply, deeply infectious. So,
That's beautiful. I don't think we're going to improve upon that. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
We're going to leave it there. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
This was really fun.